Well, we all know that the state determines the basic salary, but we as a community and as a county can determine the supplement. I would like CMS, being one of the largest districts in the state, to lead an experiment. It would be nice if we as a district put in master's pay in the supplement part. Therefore, teachers who no longer are paid for their masters get paid for improving their education. They get paid another step, just like in South Carolina, for that specialist. That can be part of the supplement that CMS gives their teachers. Also, with the state salary, you have steps of 7 to 10 years in their step increases. Our supplement should be yearly, so that as a teacher progresses and they improve their education, they do the different things that need to be done, it will help with the retention. That is one way of doing it. The state has done away with longevity. That's one of the many reasons I decided to go ahead and retire. I wasn't being paid for longevity. We can, as a district, put that into the supplement. So there are ways of paying the teachers. Teachers who are at-risk schools at one time got additional funding. They had their masters paid for. Of course, if the state takes away the masters, there's no incentive. But if you have the incentive locally to do that, then we pay those teachers, we pay for those masters, we pay those teachers extra. So there are ways that we can do that. We have to look at restructuring the system. I think we're very top heavy. Some of the people downtown who are at teacher level should be moved back into the classrooms, especially if we're purchasing curriculum. There's no need to have people to develop it. So there are ways of moving monies around. Well, when a teacher is given a curriculum and you teach what we've purchased and you teach it just like your next door teacher, that takes away creativity. We hire teachers because they are the best of what they're doing. So, okay, you know your classrooms best. Here's the outline. Here's the North Carolina Standard Course of Study. Here is point A. We were going to get to point X. You figure it out with what is best for your kids. It's also those kids who need the extra help, you're doing that. The kids who need to be pushed, you do something differently. So we have taken away the creativity of the teachers. That's wrong. In 2011, CMS, of course, won the Broad Prize. Everybody talks about that. My opponent does a lot. Let me tell you, the companies that supported it and supported the Broad Prize said the reason that CMS did so well is that the teachers were creative with their time. They were creative with their curriculum. By doing that, they took the outline of what was necessary for the students to pass, and they did what was needed to be done. So teachers don't like the parameters. You have to do this and that, and then you have to give a test. And the test is not something that they've created. It's something that is state-based. So I've talked with many children. Oh, my teacher said, I don't have to worry about this. This is just the test. So the teachers are teaching just to the test because that's what they've been told to do. That's wrong. We're not teaching our children to think. We're teaching them to pass a test that the state has done, and we can't do that. We have to teach them to think, and we have to allow the teachers to do what they're doing best. That's a good question. I would say, first of all, look at where CMS was. Yes, Cabarrus was below, but what did all those counties have in common? They opened up the schools ahead of time. They allowed their children to be in school. So parents should be aware that, yes, they performed better. But our students did well on the test. So what did they learn in those few days that they were in school at the second semester? They learned the test. That's all they were doing. So the children are going to perform well on the test, but did they show growth? No. the counties around CMS performed, except for Cabarrus. Gaston, I was right, sorry, Gaston. They performed better, and they're going to continue to perform better because they're already ahead on the growth scale. We're going to have to do some heavy pushing this year, and the teachers are having, as I said, they're having to create lessons within the parameters that they've been given. Right now, CMS is not the place to send their kids. That's why charter school applications are on the rise. I was at a meeting about 3 months ago where a African-American mother talked about sending her children to a charter school because the elementary school where her children would have gone had failed her children. They weren't encouraged them to learn. I apologize to that mother. As a person who had worked in CMS at that time, we have hurt them. We need to make our district and our schools better than what they are so that we can say CMS is the best alternative. We don't want people moving to Charlotte and saying, what's the best charter school, what's the best private school? We want them to say, what's the best elementary school that we can put our child in? What's the best middle school, what's the best high school? When I moved here in 1990, that's why I moved where I did. I chose the best elementary school for my children. I wasn't worried about where I was working. I wanted that for my child. And every child and every family in CMS deserves the best that we can give them, regardless of where they live. And we're not doing that. So we have to be competitive. We're not just competing with the private schools or with each other. We're competing with charter schools, and we need to do what needs to be done to get the people back in CMS. One thing, we need to follow what Matthews has done, which is that they provide an SRO on the elementary level and on the middle school levels. There are no SROs in CMS on the elementary level. So you're going to create a culture that the police is our friend at a Matthews Elementary School. So CMS needs to partner, not with just CMPD. We know CMPD is having trouble hiring officers, but we can partner with Pineville, we can partner with Cornelius, Huntersville, Mint Hill, and look at the elementary schools. See if we cannot get SROs. That's our goal. But also with campus security associates. We could put campus security associates on the elementary school level. I've talked with people within CMS Police Department, the persons shared, we've put this before the board with the budget and they've never approved it. We could hire retired CMPD officers. What person's not going to enjoy getting 2 different pensions? We could hire additional military, retired military. They can train them quicker than someone who's not ever been a police officer. So there are ways. We just have to look at the funding. Children need to feel safe. The teachers need to feel safe. If they're not feeling safe, then they're not going to learn. And we want the children to learn. We want the teachers to feel safe so they're not worried about every little thing that has to happen to make sure that their kids are safe. Okay, and forgive me, I'm not flippant, but I can show my age. When I was in high school, we would have probably weekly bomb threats called into my high school. Principal figured out it was at the payphone that shows that I'm aging myself, but within the courtyard that the kids were calling, and we were evacuating the school. So, first of all, I celebrated my 40th high school reunion many years ago. So I'm telling you, it is an ongoing problem. It is not something that's brand new. So I'm not making light of it. But that is something that we have to deal with. Now, the gun violence on campus, that's where we have to work with our communities. And we have to get the community involved in the school. For some reason, the schools seem to have shut their doors to the community. They don't want the community in the school. If we do that and we have a better partnership between what's going on, then we can start decreasing the gun violence. Now, the bomb threats, like I said, it's been going on. Take cell phones. You know, we have, kids can do it sitting in the classroom. I don't want to take this test today. Oh, let me just do this. There has to be some punishments, not a slap on the hand. It has to be something that is going to make parents become involved in talking to their children of not doing silly things, and it's not silly, it's dumb things like that. But again, it's involving the community. And again, bomb threats, it's bored kids. It's somebody who wants to see action, and it's how we react to it. Well, first of all, it has been a downhill spiral. I wouldn't use the same companies, the search companies, and I certainly wouldn't use the same process to hire a superintendent. Right now, I know that they're using community engagement to see what qualities that they want, and that's important. But then the board has to look at who can be visionary, who can be a healer, who can be a financial expert, who is willing to cross all the bridges. But again, they have to look at what is available and who is going to commit strictly to CMS, not have one foot outside the door looking to make a name for themselves of, oh, here's how I've done such a great job with CMS, hire me as a consultant. I was asked a few weeks ago about, superintendents being able to be consultants. We've got to figure a way out to say, no, you cannot be a consultant while you're a CMS superintendent. It's nice, but you're not going to make a name for yourself and leave right when we get things going well. And that's happened in the past as well, because I've been here since '90 and I've been through a number of them. And some of them made a name. I've done a beautiful job here and I'm getting hired to do something else. So we have to be very careful in what we're looking at. First of all, how are you going to close the gap? We have 50% of our students below grade level reading. How are you going to do that? Are you going to direct it? Or are you going to get in there with your sleeves pulled up and work with the teachers? Are you willing to clean house and straighten up CMS? So that's the first question I'm going to ask, is how are you going to close the achievement gap? We have to do that because we have so much to recoup. The second thing is, how are you going to retain the teachers? How are you going to recruit the teachers and retain them? And again, are you going to get into the ditches with them and work with them, not at them?